just a warning, things are about to get weird. Hey everyone, we're back with another consignment update video for our December 2023 auction, a 4-day auction taking place on the 5th to the 8th of December. Guitars, amps, pedals, memorabilia, studio equipment, you name it, it's there. We're going to feature an artist collection today, in fact 2 artist collections, and some other really nice things as well. So we'll just scan over the artist collections with some of the choice pieces, and then obviously the previews will be on our website in the coming weeks, guitarauctions.com, and you will have seen some of it already featured on our socials, specifically Instagram and Facebook at Guitar Auctions. So let's not waste any time, let's get through and have a look at what we've got. First of all, we're having a look at some guitars from the estate of the late Ray Majors, sadly passed away late last year. Ray Majors was originally a guitarist in a band called Hackensack. Then he went on to play with, probably most famously, Mott, the version of Mott the Hoople after Mott the Hoople. So mid 1970s with Mott the Hoople, and then of course after that went on with British Lions as well, with Over M. Watts and a few of the other guys. So yeah, some cool pieces here, and just a warning, things are about to get weird, because there are some modified or very modified things that are a bit quirky, but I like that. Ray liked modifying things to get the sounds he wanted, and he had a lot of fun doing it. The guitar we're starting with here is a 2008 Fender Jaguar HH spec with the 2 humbucker pickups. We're basically starting with this one because there's a fairly well-known picture of Ray with his wife Sandy Dillon. Sandy Dillon was a sort of fairly well-known American singer, songwriter, success in her own right, and they actually died within a couple of hours of each other. So there we go. But there's an iconic image of Ray draped over Sandy Dillon holding this guitar, which will be included in the catalogue. So this has been used by Ray live. If you look around online, you can see videos of him. There's a video of him even using this with like Yardbirds. So it's a cool, made in Mexico. There's nothing really changed on this one at all. It's fairly standard and stock. 2008 Fender Jaguar HH spec X Ray Majors. So you may have seen our under the hood video of a JV Stratocaster. We have another one here, this one from the Ray Majors collection. It's an okay road worn example. We've got a VIP sticker there from a Patti Smith gig back in 2001, it looks like. Looks like it, yeah. So it was obviously used at that show. So one that's been obviously used by Ray Majors on stage. I'm pretty sure this one's from about 1982. The details will obviously be correct in the catalogue. So early 80s JV Stratocaster. Logo removed from the head. I don't know whether it was Ray or a previous owner was ashamed to be playing a Squier, but no one should ever be ashamed of playing a Squier. They make fantastic guitars,
especially the Japanese ones, eh?
Especially the Japanese and these ones. So yeah, it's a used example. We do have something going on with the truss rod here. I mean, you can see it's been cut out at the pick guard, and the truss rod does protrude from the end of the neck, so there's something going on there. However, it's perfectly playable. It's a perfectly playable guitar, and a well-regarded Stratocaster JV Squier. So here we have a modern sparkle jet from Gretsch, Electromatic series. It's just a fairly, I guess, I don't like to say cheap because that downgrades an instrument, but I guess it's a fairly entry level guitar. Maybe a nod to the 70s glam era, but one of the reasons to feature this is there are images of Ray using this one live, so it was obviously one that he did quite like and used to play live, and you will see the images we have found in the catalogue. But yeah, a very glam red sparkle Gretsch Electromatic sparkle jet. So here we have a very shiny Resonator. So this is from 1993. It's a Dobro Model 75 with the Lily of the Valley engraving. They're good resonators. It is from the Gibson takeover period, buying out the Dobro name, but yeah, it's a good single cone resonator guitar. Nice engraving on it, and Ray, as I said, was a big fan of resonator guitars, as you'll see with a few others that we'll feature today. So yeah, good example. Nothing wrong with that at all. A few scuffs and dings, but what do you expect from a used and gigged guitar? So again, resonators. Ray, a big fan of them, and this is when we get into modification zone as well. So the base model of this, it's either a Tanglewood Blue Sound, or there was a company called Skylark, or some guitars that were branded Skylark, and they basically made the same. They were probably made in the same place, just branded for whoever they were going to. But that is the base model anyway. You can see that a 7th string has been put on this one, so it's essentially a double course on the top string, and we've got what looks like a ZZ Top logo on the head. I think we'll go for ZZ Top. It does look like ZZ Top. And then if you look at the back, he's actually cut open the back, put another resonator plate on, and yeah, to expose and work through to the front resonator. But yeah, what exactly that does, I do not know. Maybe it resonates the guitar into your belly, so you can feel in your gut what's going on.
It's like those drum stools where they put speakers on them.
Yeah, maybe.
For the drummer in like live situations, they can feel it through the stool.
Maybe that is what it is. But yeah, it's another resonator. Again, a entry level guitar, but it just shows some of Ray's modification work and his love for resonators. So, last of the resonators for this video, and this is quite a lovely thing. So this is made by Peter Turner, who makes fine resonator guitars, and this was one that he actually made for Ray. This is the Marrakesh model, and I think we can see why with the stylized plate there, but it's made with, this is Madagascan rosewood, similar qualities to Brazilian rosewood, but legal to use and acquire still. So a lovely grain on this, a really nice resonant wood, lovely deep tones, and yeah, with the rather lovely Marrakesh style plate as well there. We got the pickup as well, and I even love that the fact that the Madagascan rosewood veneer has been matched in with the pickup.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
So yeah, that is a Peter Turner Marrakesh model resonator guitar made for Ray Majors by the maker. So we have an Epiphone Les Paul case. What could it be? Not an Epiphone. Said in perfect harmony there.
Got it in stereo.
So this is a 1965 Airline Res-o-Glas 3/4. I think they're really cool. It's got the Jack White vibes. going on there.
Oh, that's right. I said Josh Homme before, didn't I? But then it does look like something that he'd have.
Yeah, Josh Homme would use one of these, I'm sure. It's a well-used, well-loved guitar. Well-loved, well-used.
Same thing,
but
right?
Same thing. Not many modifications on this actually, so the pickups are a bit loose and they need reaffixing. Bit of damage to the pick guard. The only mod we've really got on this is this Vox tailpiece cover, replacing the original. But it's a cool thing. They sound cool as well, and they look great. So if you like your short scale 3/4 guitars, like something a bit quirky and a bit different, there you go, and you can have a free Epiphone Les Paul case. So again with this one, there's no real severe modifications. I guess there's arguably an improvement with some locking tuners, but this is a 2002 Fender Classic Series 70s Stratocaster. I think the main reason I'm featuring this is because I'm a huge fan of the big 70s headstocks. It's in Olympic white and it's got a rosewood board, so it's got, for me, the ultimate look for a Strat. As a wall hanger or something to play, I think these are great. Travelling Wilburys, many of you know who they were. Supergroup comprising George Harrison, Tom Petty, Roy Orbison, Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne. Great band, and they even had a guitar as a tribute to them. This is the TW300 model. They were made by Gretsch. This one, or designed by Gretsch, Korean made. Now this one has been modified to another modified instrument, and it was well used by Ray. I mean, look at all the wear on the fretboard. I don't think I've ever seen one of these Travelling Wilburys models with quite this much wear. They were one of those, they're bald, a bit of a wall hanger because they do look quite cool, you know, with the Travelling Wilburys design. This one was used. You'd normally expect a small sort of single coil type pickup. This has been replaced with a GFS P90 pickup, dog ear P90. Of course, call them dog ears because of these ears on the side. They're mounted and screwed with the ears rather than screwed through the top. So there we go. Looks like we've got some Fender bullet strings in there.
Your favourite?
Yeah. Probably tell by my reaction what I think of those strings. But yeah, it's a cool thing. I like them, and they don't break the bank. And with the modification there, I'm sure it sounds great.
It's a Gretsch Les Paul Jr.
Absolutely. For those of you who are into Raikuda, you'll have seen these type of guitars. This is a Teisco Japanese-made SD4, I'm pretty sure. The 4 from the 4 pickups. And you can't get more 1960s than a Formica top. So this is genuinely Formica top and back on this guitar, just like Grandma's table.
And every other piece of furniture in the house.
Yeah. I like these guitars a lot for, firstly, the gold foil pickups. These sound amazing. There's a reason Raikuda used this type of guitar for, you know, the type of playing that he does. And it's something else I really like the concept of is these rocker switches. Now they're very prone to going wrong. These actually work. But it's just a cool thing. You can see the modifications Ray's done. He's put a contour in because it is a very sharp-sided guitar, and it does. I have played at length one of these before without obviously the contour, and it does hurt your arm after a while. It sort of digs in, but I think, you know, a lot of people use them for slide and put them on their lap. But yeah, it's a cool thing. These are not original logos, they are photocopies. We've got one replaced tuner there by the looks of it. It is a cool thing. Like I said, with the gold foil pickups, companies like Mojo, very well known for doing these gold foil type replica pickups, and they do have a really cool sound. You know, they have their own kind of sound. So yeah, it's a cool thing from the 60s, something a bit different, and with some signs of Ray's modification work. Now this Telecaster, I think, just oozes personality. It's a really well made custom Telecaster. Some of you will not like the aesthetic, but the parts this is made out of make this a good guitar and a very big sounding Telecaster. So we've obviously got the custom finished body. I do not know for sure what the body is. All I can say is it's quite light, but the neck is an MIJ, sort of genuine MIJ Telecaster neck, 50 spec with a maple board, with what looks like the original Clusen style tuners on there. Now in terms of electrics, we have a Gibson humbucker pickup here. So it's a patent number pickup. So it's a 1970s, we think, Gibson pickup, and we've got a Schaller, I guess it's a DiMarzio style pickup to the neck. Various bridge saddles there, mismatched, and the Gibson style speed knobs there, with the shell guard as well. So it's made of good parts, and this kind of really does show Ray's fondness of modding things and just making a guitar that works for the purpose more than anything else. And yeah, I like it a lot, and it does sound good, and it's a good player.
It's the definition of a workhorse guitar, isn't it?
Workhorse guitar, yeah. I'm actually quite surprised there's not, or we certainly can't find any images of Ray using this, because we are led to believe that he did use it quite a lot. I mean, obviously, it's we've got a later neck here. This neck will be from the. I'm sure this neck will be a 90s neck. But yeah, another cool thing. I did say things were about to get weird, and this is the last one that we're featuring from the Ray Majors collection. There are a handful of other things, guitars and other items that are in that sale. Haven't got time to feature everything today, but this has got to be the most modified guitar. So this is a 1977 Guild S300 model, and you can see that yes, it is quite modified. So we'll just run down what we've got. So essentially, we've got the mahogany body, we've got the neck, the original ebony board, the frets, and the original tuners, and then it's the hardware and electrics on the body where we get quite experimental and crazy. Now, the first thing I will mention is these bars here. We've got some here, and I can see one under the pickguard as well. I have absolutely no idea what they're for. Ray obviously had a purpose for them. I mean, maybe a stop bar was put there and it was used as some kind of, I don't know, handle or thumb support or something. I do not know. But looking at the rest of it, so we've got the original Guild pickups here. These are very well thought of humbuckers, these Guild pickups. So they are original, they're working, they run through the normal jack. And then, really interesting, we've got a P-bass pickup here. So
yeah, I was going to say I thought it was a P-bass pickup. But
perfectly lined up with the top four strings. So this is wired through another of the jacks. So I believe it's this one here. And then we've got this Fernandez pickup here that's wired through the end. So we've got three outputs. so must have run them through the studio through 3 separate channels, or live it must have been some feet as well. But the purpose of this pickup, it's a mod that quite a lot of people do to Jags and Jazzmasters, and it's something to do with picking up the harmonics or some kind of resonance. Apparently it does something along those lines.
What is that? Is that a Fernandez Sustainer?
I'm not actually sure. I mean, it could well be a Fernandez Sustainer, hence why it's there. It could well be. I've not checked yet. But you will see as well that the G string is wrapped around rather than going to the stop bar. So there's obviously he didn't want the G string to drone with the rest of them. So yeah, I just think it's cool and quirky. I personally really like these old Guild 1970s guitars, so for me it's almost a shame it's not in its original state, but I think as part of Ray's collection, maybe this is the showcase piece of his love for modifications. So if you are a Ray Majors fan, his out of his solo work or his Mott work, then that is a cool thing. So yeah, that covers Ray's collection. Some nice things there. Like I said, we got some other pieces. There may be more to turn up because there are other things in the estate, but we're still working to see what else might be included. Yeah, this will all be sold on the 5th of December with other artist guitars. And let's move on to the next one. So we mentioned another artist collection. We're going to have a look at a few things. It's a very small collection we've got from a gentleman called Peter Hammill. Now, those of you who are into the prog thing will know exactly who I'm talking about. Van der Graaf Generator is the name that Peter wrote under. Very influential within that scene. So we got some cool guitars, a few other electronic items. This is one of his very first guitars that he used. So this is a circa 1969 Yamaha FG-300. So red label, as you can see inside, Nippon Gaki factory. Very well regarded guitars. This guitar was one of the very early guitars that Peter used for recording and live work. Used right up until 1979 when it was replaced with his Morris acoustic. So this is a cool workhorse guitar. As you can see, it has been well used. Used by Peter Hammill, Van der Graaf Generator, on lots of recordings as well. We'll mention all the recordings in the catalogue description. So if you are a fan of Van der Graaf Generator, then this guitar was one that was used on some of the very, very early work.
It's not quite like Willie Nelson's Trigger, is it?
Not quite. We're not quite through the top. Here we are. A little dinky do. So something a little bit different that some of you will know about, some won't obviously, but this is a 2001 Armond Ashbory bass. I think the general concept with this is it's quite good for getting for guitarists and bassists to get a double bass sound. You've got these kind of like they're rubber strings, but it does work well. There's a really cool design. Peter did use this in some sort of later recordings in the 2000s to get that double bass sound. Again, we'll mention the work that it was used on in the catalogue. But there it is with the case, and you even get a free bottle of talc there to keep it working. You will have to excuse this guitar a little bit for now. It came in some deteriorating foam wrapping, so we are going to get the rest of this cleaned off. So that is what that is. But this is a 1966 Baldwin double 612 string, so a cool 60s thing. And this was used by Peter on many recordings, but most notably the Guitar Quartet. that sort of ended up becoming some of various songs. Again, we'll mention the songs in the catalogue. Pulling them off the top of my head right now. It's probably asking a bit too much.
Can't be expected to know everything.
Can't be expected to know everything. But yeah, this was used, and yeah, it's a cool 1960s British made Burns Baldwin 66. Let's feature something completely different.
Grandfather of the guitar, or like great grandfather.
Very early ancestor, yeah. Made in 1974 by Tony Stratton Smith for Peter Hammill, and we've got a little plaque there with his name. Now, Peter admits himself that he was never going to become the best lutist in the world. We haven't got time for everything, but there was one particular song where he did tune all the strings to D, and in his own words, I think he recorded it in half speed and full speed to make what he calls a terrible or wonderful racket. So it was used on a recording, but it is a well-made lute. I'm sure there is a lute society that tend to get excited when we have lutes coming up in our auctions. So I'm sure they will be looking at this one. But yeah, a well-made, I guess we call them contemporary lutes, but as decades go on,
it's vintage by guitar standards.
It's vintage by guitar standards. So there it is with its original case. So that very briefly covers the Peter Hammill collection. There are other guitars, all of which he has used in recordings and live situations. We've also got a high watt amp from his collection. That was used in the very early days from around 1970 and later, and it was even used more recently as an amplifier for sort of keyboard work. I particularly like the amplifier. It's a custom 50 model, but it's got a really cool Van der Graaf stencil on the side of it. There's also a Dupfer weighted keyboard that was used with a Roland piano module rack unit, both of which are on the sale as well. So there are other items again from the Peter Hammill Van der Graaf generator collection, and again along with the Ray Majors collection, those will all be on the website guitarauctions.com. So before we sign off, let's have a look at a small but very nice collection of guitars that's come in. We don't have time to feature everything we want to that's come in recently. I think we've probably had 10 fairly decent collections come in, not necessarily big collections. There might be 4 or 5 guitars here or there. There's another collection of about 30 guitars that has some very nice guitars in indeed, which will feature them probably in next week's video. We'll see. There is a 50s Gibson in there. There's a 60s Gibson in there. There's some JV Squiers in there, and other various Gibson and Fenders. So just to whet your appetites there. But this is like I said, a single owner collection. So we will sign off the video with this collection, just quickly running through what we've got. I'm a huge Marshall fan, and I absolutely loved Randy Rhoads' work with Ozzy Osbourne. So this is a 2012 Marshall Randy Rhoads signature amplifier. It's the Mark II Super Lead 100 watt. It's got the old RR red pen on the side, but matching head with cabinet, white Tolex. It's a really striking looking thing, isn't it? And yeah, get your Randy Rhoads leads out with this amplifier, and we've got some perfect guitars to do that with, which we'll show you now. If nothing else, the amp makes a good backdrop, eh? But we've got some really cool things here. This collection has literally just come in, so I will kind of be saying what I see as and when I open these things. But yeah, to start with, this could be a great match to the Randy Rhoads amp. This is an EVH. This is a custom Wolfgang, so all bells and whistles. Obviously, it's made under the Fender version of EVH, which it still is. So yeah, this is a US made EVH custom with the case. Wolfgang, of course the model was named after his son, who's a fantastic musician in his own right. I encourage everyone to listen to his debut album. Yeah, it's amazing, really like it. So yeah, go out and check that. But yeah, this is the EVH custom model made by Fender USA. This is probably the first Keisel we've ever had in. So the majority probably will not seen one of these before. There might even be a lot of people that haven't even heard of Keisel before. But this is a Keisel Jason Becker signature numbers model, and I think it's obvious why it's called the numbers model. But yeah, fantastically made guitar, really nice lightweight guitar actually, and I just love the bright colours on it in contrast to the natural finished body. So it comes with the original case, and it's a really nice clean example. Without opening this case, I don't know what's in here, so this can be a good, nice surprise for me as well. It's almost fresh off the van.
That's green.
There we go. It's very green. So I do know what this is. This is a Charvel Dweezil Zappa model. Obviously Dweezil was Frank Zappa's son, and as you can see from the back, only 10 made. So a very limited edition guitar, and it's nice and green.
It's like the Incredible Hulk's guitar.
Yeah. Seymour Duncan pickup installed, and we've got all the documents there with the CD as well. And there we go. Mike Shannon and Pablo Santana. So I guess that's the shop floor traveller type document there. And yeah, if you like your fast playing super strats, high output, single pickup, the best kind there is.
Insane. What more do you need, Luke?
What more do you need?
One pickup, one knob.
Maybe not a Floyd, but that's just me. But yeah, no, it's a cool thing, limited edition. And as I always say, limited edition artist associated guitars always seem to be good investments and go up in value, so one to keep an eye on. I mentioned earlier with the Randy Rhoads amp and the Ozzy Osbourne connection. There is some Ozzy Osbourne connection with this. And there we go. This is a JD Tony Iommi custom old boy. So this is a replica of Tony's mid-70s JD made electric guitar, iconic thing. His JD guitar, I think, was first used for overdubs on Heaven and Hell before it eventually took over and became his main guitar, taking over the John Birch, his original John Birch instrument. So yeah, this is a cool thing. It's got the whole relic job going on. All the specs are as they should be. We've got the John Birch style and along with the JD pickups, and all the controls as they should be as well. But everything has been copied sort of to the original spec. and relicked as such as well, even with the plate on the back, locking tuners.
There's a 0 fret as well, I think, isn't there?
There is a 0 fret indeed, and of course the cross or crucifix inlay position markers. So yeah, these have become collectible things, as I'm sure you can appreciate, again with the Artists Association. And yeah, if you're a Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi fan, and who isn't, if you're not, you should be. So this is the Gibson 2011 Buckethead Les Paul Studio. So they made 2 different versions of this. They had the custom shop model, which changes hands for extremely high figures these days, and then you've got the studio model that would have been at a much lower price point and still is, but because of what they are and also being a limited guitar, it's amazing how much these sell for, considering they are a studio guitar. But I think they just look really cool, and it's probably one of many iconic looking Gibson guitars. So you've got the kill switches.
I love those arcade style kill switches.
They are great.
Such a neat little mod, because it would be so much quicker as well to just, you know.
Exactly, yeah. So there we go, and as you can see, it's in stunning condition with the Arctic white finish. You can't get much whiter than that. So we're on the last one of today, I'm afraid, but it's something really cool. So think of Johnny Winter, and what do you think of? A Gibson Firebird. So this is the Johnny Winter model Gibson Firebird, and this is a really light guitar. First time I've actually held this guitar, so yeah, that's a cool thing.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
So it's obviously got the accurate aging from the craftsman in the Gibson factory. We've actually got serial number 007. So if you're a James Bond fan and a Johnny Winter fan and a Gibson Custom fan,
is there going to be much crossover on that?
If you are all of the 3, tell us in the comments, and maybe you should bid on this guitar. But yeah, everything is as Johnny Winter's spec, really. You've even got the holes from the old vibratos that would have been in place, even the aging on the stop bar there.
I know we said it before, but there's something to be said for when relicing's done really well.
And this has been done well, yeah. But it's even on the neck, we've got that
big ding on the back.
The big ding on the back, which, you know, some people think, well, why do I want that on the back of my guitar? But I think it's been really nicely done. The pickguard's been aged nicely, and I do love Firebirds. And then we've got the original case with all the paperwork as well, as you would expect. There he is, inspired by series Johnny Winter Firebird 007. So that concludes it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed what we've had on offer, having a look through the Ray Majors collection, the Peter Hammill of Van der Graaf generator collection, and this small private collection of guitars that we've had in from a single owner. Like I've already said, there's so much to feature and we wish we could show more, but we don't like to have to put you through too much, although I know we all love looking at these guitars. So all of these guitars in particular will be featured in our auction on the 5th of December. It's a 4-day sale, 5th to the 8th. We've of course got amplification, effects, studio gear, memorabilia, lots and lots of things going on, and then of course we've got musical instruments on the final day as well. So please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon as well to get notified with future video uploads. We really appreciate all your views. It does mean a lot, and keep the comments coming, because it does encourage us to do more. And of course, if you've got any suggestions of videos that you would like us to do in the future, like the under the hood videos we're doing, please do check those out. Then please do comment and say, because I'm sure there's lots we could be doing, lots that people want to see. We're always encouraged to do more. So again, thanks for joining us today. Website guitarauctions.com. Follow us on socials at Guitar Auctions on Instagram and / Guitar Auctions on Facebook, or just search Guitar Auctions at Gardner Holgate. And we will see you next week with hopefully a really cool single owner collection, and we'll take a close look at those. See you next time.